Okay, let's fly through it. Today we're gonna talk about types of contracts in Norway and what you can expect when you sign them. First, it's essential to see if the employer hiring for fast or vicariat, and it will tell you whether you have a permanent or temporary job. If you get a fast contract, it usually states that they hire you from a specific date for 100, 80, 50 or 20%, whatever full-time or part-time you agreed on. And it has a trial period of 1 to 3 months usually. In some cases, the trial period can last up to 6 months. This contract doesn't have an expirational date and it will last until you or your boss will decide to end it. Here are some things to understand. If you get a part-time job, it doesn't mean that your contract isn't permanent. If you are paid by the hours, your employer have to give you agreed amount of hours, even if there's nothing to do. For example, if your boss is sending you home from your shift, telling you that there is nothing to do, they still have to pay you for the shift because first of all, it was in your schedule. Second of all, your contract is stating that you, for example, work 50% and it means that you have to work 20 hours a week that they have to pay you for. In general, you have a right for a minimum wage, you have a right for agreed hours, a schedule 2 weeks in advance, and also payments for a sick leave, even if you work shifts. All permanent contracts usually have a trial period. In this time, either you or your employer can decide to end it. After the trial period is over, usually it's very hard to fire you. It has to be a legitimate reason, for example, something like economical problems in the company, but it has to be documented to the government. It's better to have a permanent contract, even the part-time, because it gives you more benefits. For example, if you want to ask loan for a house, or let's say you're a woman and you want to go on maternity leave, your employee have to keep the spot for you for after you return from your parental leave. If you've been working on a temporary contract and there is an opening for permanent job, your employer has to offer this spot to you first if you're interested. Also, if you work for more than 3-4 years on a temporary contract, you can demand a permanent one. One of the most popular forms of contract is a temporary contract or vicariat in Norwegian. The main difference from the permanent contract is that this contract is time-bound and you can be fired after it expires. You still have the same right for welfare benefits such as jobless money, sick leave or parental benefits, but your employer doesn't need to keep your place if you are pregnant and going on a maternity leave. You have the right for pension and vacation money, the same as the people with permanent contracts. Vicariat is very popular in companies where specialist is absent for some time, for example, due to parental leave or sick leave. You will get a date in your contract when you are done and another employee comes back to the same position. Next on is the contract called extra help, or extrahjelp, tilkanningshjelp, ringehjelp. This is a bit tricky because you work when your boss calls you if they need extra people. This works good usually for people who don't want to bind themselves with responsibilities of permanent contract, and you can always say no when they call you to work. This contract is fine when you're desperate and want to find a job as quick as possible. For example, if you need to apply for parental benefits, because the job is a job and NAF doesn't care what type of contract you have as long as you have your payslips and you pay taxes. The next one is seasonal job, summer job or project work. These contracts usually given to people who come for a job for a short period of time, mostly the people from other European Union countries, and if you're going, for example, just to 3 to 6 months in Norway and then going back to your home country. Usually, if you don't plan to live in Norway permanently or before 1 year of living, you can fix a special tax card called Kildeskatt or pay-as-you-earn scheme. With this tax card, you will pay 25% tax no matter how much you earn. Also, if you earn less than 70,000 kroner, you don't have to pay taxes from your income. If you want to know more about pay-as-you-earn scheme that gives you 25% taxes, check this video. Next type of contract is working practice or Praxisarbeit. This is popular for people who want to return to work after a long break, have limited abilities, or newcoming immigrants with lack of experience. In a nutshell, you get a job either by finding it yourself or with NAV's help, where NAV agrees to pay your employer a part of the money for your work. This practice cannot last more than 1 year, and after this 1 year, your employer has to either hire you or let you go. This contract is good if you don't have any other options, and you actually get an experience in the Norwegian market, often in the desired specialty. Next type of job contracts is the working for recruiting companies. Here you can have temporary or permanent contracts. The recruiting company pays you salary, vacation money, and so on, but you can be hired to work in a different companies. Working for this kind of companies can be a good start for finding a job in place that you like. I was working in one of these companies as assistant in kindergarten, and I got myself a permanent job in one of the kindergartens afterwards. I made this video because I often see that workers are not fully aware of their rights and often don't know what they're signing, especially when they're new to Norway. Knowing your rights and benefits you're entitled to can significantly improve your working experience. In the next video of this series, we will talk about job resources and support network for workers in Norway. If you're interested, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Bye bye! Bye bye!